there is a power to like giving, to contribution, to charity. And I want to tell you a story. I was stuck at this income level, and I'm making $400,000 a year. I'm living in this luxury apartment at that time. I'm driving a brand new Corvette. Everything that I thought, like, man, I'll be happy when I have this stuff, right? I have maybe like 100 and something thousand in savings, and I'm grateful. Don't take this wrong. Like, look at this egotistical guy. No, I'm freaking super grateful to God for every little thing that I have. But I thought that I would be more fulfilled. I thought that I would be happier. And so I'm processing this, and I'm like, why God? Like, why am I not happy? You know? And trust me, if I was listening to this and I hadn't, and I was just like barely making it, like my first year in business, I made $8,000. I'd be like, yeah, I wish I had your problems, buddy. You know, ha ha ha. And I hope you do one day have those problems. I hope one day you do make it and you have everything you want, and then you're able to ask yourself, you know, what really matters and what's going on the inside. And I'm sitting there and I'm going to the restroom. I'm just like thinking in the morning time, what's going on? And I'm like asking God, like, why am I not happier? Why am I not more fulfilled? And God, like, this is what I felt from God at the moment. He says, it's all about you. It's all about you. So I'm like, you know, it's all about me. What does that even mean? And I remember a friend told me, hey, you know what? Cindy and Amber were going to Haiti. And I remember calling and I said, hey, can I join you guys on this mission trip? So I go on this mission trip to Haiti, and we get there and there's no trash, so there's piles of trash all over the streets. Haiti doesn't have a trash system, and people just burn it. And we go to this little house, right, where the pastor lives and where we're staying. The church group that went from the church is staying, and we're going to build a foundation for this other church and this building and this school. And I'm sitting there, and every single day, man, we are working our tail off. And the guys that were working on the construction site, they're making $5 a day, and they're working from morning till night, hard physical construction work, breaking rock, brick, digging holes, hard work. And I'm like, man, these guys are making $5. And this little kid, we go into the orphanage, and there was, I want to say, 6 to 8 kids that lived in this one room. And we said, they said we have to break the tile in the bathroom because they didn't put the right type of material down, and the water's got in there and underneath, right? And it's starting to break, and at any moment while these kids are showering, the shower could just fall through the floor. And so I'm like, so these kids, there's 8 kids that live in one room. 8 kids in living room. And man, I'm like, dude, you're so ungrateful. Like, you're so ungrateful. Like, man, 8 people in one room. You know, life is perspective, guys. Sometimes we need to reshape our perspective. And when I'm there, this little boy, and I want to say his name was Zulu, or I'm trying to remember his name. And he comes and he says, can I help you? And I said, no, buddy, it's okay. He's like, no, I want to help. He's like 5 or 6 maybe. And he's carrying this 5-gallon bucket. We wouldn't put too much in there because we didn't want it to be heavy, but he wanted to help. So he'd put a little bit, and he'd carry it outside and dump out the trash because we're breaking up this tile. We're breaking up the shower. And I said, where do you live? And he points over to this little tent in the grass. And he says, that's where I live with my parents. And I was just broken in that moment. I was like, man, he has such a positive spirit. He just wants to help. Our spirit is so powerful, and sometimes we get bitter, sometimes we get stressed, sometimes we get lost, man. And this is why I think, like, I have boys now, 2 kiddos, 2 boys, and I'm hoping we have some girls. And as a family, I've told my wife, I told Daniela, I said, we're going to do a mission trip when the kids get old enough consistently, because we lose so much perspective of what really matters in this world, which is people, loving people, feeding people, clothing people, loving on people. And so we end up leaving, and it changed my whole perspective on that moment, on what really matters. And at that time, now, if at the time of this video, Haiti's under control of gangs right now, and people are starving to death. And you realize the need for good government, because without good government, corporations can't come if without major corporations, it's hard to have a lot of consistent jobs for the workforce to have consistent pay. And without people to have consistent pay, it's difficult for entrepreneurs to be able to build businesses there if there's not consistent, means for people to make money and spend money. So it really goes back down to like good government. And then we went to Cuba, and it was the same thing there. Poverty, just true poverty. And you look at these systems of leadership, communism, right? And then I don't know the proper terminology for the government of Haiti back then, what it was, but it's just not working. It's just not working. And you realize that everything rises and falls on leadership. And you realize how much, a person with good character and commitment and discipline to serve can make a difference in this world. And it completely changed my perspective in that moment. And I came back. I remember we would shower. And when you go to the restroom, if you peed, right? If you peed, you wouldn't flush because there really wasn't a lot of water there. And you would only flush if you went number 2. And when you would shower at night, you would literally wet yourself, and then you would stop the water, you'd soap up, and then you'd just wet yourself, right? Rinse off. And there wasn't light in the showers. Like one time you'd have your like phone, and there was like a spider, and you're like, this is how these people live. And yet the kids are so happy. They're running around, they're playing, they're smiling, they're laughing. And it goes back to show you that like you having more doesn't make you happier, and you having more doesn't make you grateful. Sometimes the desire of more, you could lose perspective. Now, some people could listen to this message like, yeah, that's why I don't desire more. I have a lot of big goals and dreams in my life. I desire a lot. I want to build a water park in my backyard for my kids so that they don't ever want to go to, the other kid's house, right? And I don't know who that other kid is or their parents. I'm selfish. I want those kids to come over here. I want to build a bowling alley at the house. I want all these little dreams, little fun stuff for the kids. So I believe in desiring more. I also believe that if you have more, you can give more. And maybe if you don't have a lot of money right now to give, maybe you can give your time. But I'm big in giving, and I always want to give more. But that perspective completely changed my attitude. So if you're at a season of your life where you're like, man, I'm not as happy, one of the best ways to go and change your state is to stop focusing on yourself and focus on others, and do something to serve somebody else that has less than you. And you'll realize how fulfilling that is. And I truly believe that God built that into our spirit, that by us loving people, right? You look at the 2 commandments, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor like you love yourself. Those 2 commandments are built into the DNA of human beings. And so whenever we serve people, whenever we give to somebody else, whenever it's about somebody else more than it's about us, life is better. And there's a great quote that says, the more life is about you, the harder it is. The more life is about others, the easier it becomes. And that's a constant reminder that we all need. So I want to encourage you, if you're at a place where you're frustrated, you're just disappointed, you're anxious, you're not happy, maybe this is a good opportunity for you to go serve someone somewhere, somehow. If this adds some value to you, please share it with somebody else, and subscribe and turn on the notifications. We'd love for you to stay up to date with the channel. Take care, everybody.